same old jacket after last week coaching Western Australia in the State of Origin?
Not quite as hectic, Drew, but and I find this much more interesting, to be quite frank. But looking forward to this today, Drew, as I think everyone is. The quality of these two sides, as you mentioned in the opener, just outstanding. As we see the St Kilda squad, they've added just one player for this game, Drew, and that is Nicky Winmar, who performed very well for me last week in the State of Origin. I think got himself in a bit of shape, and I think he'll be a great addition today at the expense of Luke Beveridge. Not a bad side either, Drew. I think their goal-to-goal line is very good. Although Shanahan, having had a pretty poor night last Friday night against Scott Cummings in the Origin game, needs to step up a bit, and he'll have his work cut out against Minton Connell.
Well, the Saints made a great start last round against Carlton. At one stage, they led by 64 points and were almost headed in the last quarter before they steadied. And the Western Bulldogs made a fantastic start against Port. They kicked 8 goals to 1 in the first quarter and were headed and lost the game by 12.
Yes, well, Terry Wallace, Drew, sat with me a couple of weeks ago in Adelaide as they watched Port Adelaide play the Sydney Swans prior to that game last week or 2 weeks ago, when it looked as if the Bulldogs had that all under control, and all of a sudden Port just powered over the top of them. But they've added a couple of young fellas in there, Scott Allen, also Adam Contessa, Drew, who you've seen a fair bit in under-19s for North Melbourne.
Yes, he's played the last 2 reserves grand finals and premiership sides for North Melbourne. He just came off the rookie list this week, so he's been included. And there's Simon Minton-Connell, leading goal kicker for the Bulldogs, but he had just 2 kicks last round. He'll need to improve. Nathan Burke, sensational against Carlton. This should be a game and a half. We hope you stay with us for the afternoon. We'll be back soon. There's Croft picking up Stewie Lowe in the goal square at the right-hand end. Full forward for St Kilda, full back for the Bulldogs. Midfield matchups going on with Dent trying to go with his man. And the umpire gets us underway. Everett crashes into Wine. Backing through is Thompson. Some sort of a hand pass. Pretty have tried to hack the ball out of the air. It's a free kick here.
Oh,
and the Saints will take it. Quickly taken by Hall. Thompson got himself free on the far side. Running into space is Peckett. Thompson goes for distance for Stewie Lowe. What a mark!
That's a great start, Drew, to get the ball delivered down like that over the top of Danny Southern, who copped the brunt of the Stuart Lowe force from behind. He had to go back. Didn't know it was coming. Copped him front on. And as he fell to ground too.
Well, match not in progress, 30 seconds, and Danny Southern is already seeing stars. Look at this group just off the ball, with various players trying to pick up other players, and a bit of heat going on to cool up to warm up a cool day, and the emergency umpire is out there already. So what a start to this game. Stewie Lowe, the captain, going for goal. And don't tell me he's missed it. Only 35 to 40 metres out. A disappointing result.
Lowe's accuracy had been better than that during the year. Coming into the game with 31 goals, 16. Has markedly improved his kicking over the last 3 or 4 seasons. So Rowan Smith, straight off the Victorian game last week, kicks in. Daniel Southern, as he prefers to be known. Doesn't look like a Daniel though. Pushes out wide. Everett in the front position. Darcy flicks it over the back. Scotty West plays the ball on in front of him. Quickly onto Liberatore inside. Kicks towards full forward. The one-out contest. Minton Connell behind. Shanahan in front. Can't control it. Off the ground there by Sarakovsky. And the Bulldogs answer Stuart Lowe's behind with a very quick move right down the ground.
That's when they're dangerous too, Wills, aren't they? They move the ball so very quickly. It was a good mark by Southern from the kick out, and they just got the ball on very quickly. And the numbers tell, and all of a sudden you're inside, you're attacking 50 and a chance at goal.
Last time these teams met, round 20 last year, Footscray won by 38 points. There was a crowd of just 7,000 there. They were 10th and 15th on the ladder at that stage. Today, 1st and 6th. What a difference. Peckett straight up the ground to Ziller. Ziller out towards centre wing. Winmar swamped with the spoil. Ellis towards the boundary line, and it's hurried over the boundary line by Contessa. And we'll have a throw in right underneath the commentary box here. Expected top 14, so not very hot. Currently 13, also not very hot. Hall missed it. Ball underfoot, and we'll have a ball up. How is it after coming over from Perth and the scintillating weather over there?
So a great degree of heat in the game early. Players in, pushing and shoving. Continues on here with Darcy, taking the ball up that bounce over the top. Scott West, another forward possession, and finds Rowan Smith. Up quickly, looking for a runner, wasn't there. Now looks towards the full forward position. The lead's on, it's going to get inside 50, doesn't quite reach Cook, he's held.
Yep, certainly a free kick there, Wheels. Troy Gray just hanging on right in front of the umpire.
So James Cook, playing his 35th game of league football. After 25 games and a couple of years at Carlton, is a genuine full forward. So the balancing act for Terry Wallace as coach today is to be able to use James Cook and Simon Minton-Connell in the dual full forward role. So Cook, 7 goals in the last 3 games from right on 50. It's long, drifts across to the left, and it's just another behind. So Western Bulldogs 2 behinds, St Kilda just the 1.
Yeah, Wills, as John Russo said, it's difficult an angle on the breeze today. The flags above the stand saying it's very much favouring the end to which Footscray are kicking, or Western Bulldogs are kicking to, but on the ground at that level it certainly does swirl a bit.
Aussie Jones, who made his State of Origin debut last week for Victoria, and what a quick rise in football the youngster has had from Beaconsfield. Oh, his kick-in is marked by Grant just outside the 50. Centering kick. Cook up to the 50 now, and Wine still too far out to score. Oh, Cook missed the hand pass. Burke hacks the ball off the ground. Heatley, a little hand pass is good. Thompson prominent early. Wide open forward line. Lowe got rid of Croft. Met by Southern. Stewie Lowe. Hall, a good hand pass. Thompson, not great off the left, but watch it. Collinuke in a bit of trouble. Jose Romero had to go for the rush behind.
See, a lot of players slipping through. The surface obviously not strong on top, so players, I assume, out at Waverley would always have long stops in, but a lot of players losing their footing early.
Jose Romero with the job on Robert Harvey. And now it's with Rowan Smith for the second time to kick in. Goes long outside 50 towards Wind. Drops perfectly for him, but he drops the mark he should have taken. Jones steps out onto the left foot, looking for Lowe, doesn't reach him. Southern in front takes the mark in defence. Looks towards this near side to switch it. There was nothing there, so continues back to the outer side. Ellis, a couple of goes at it, and now it's over the line and out.
So it could have been a pretty good drop mark too by Scotty Wine from the kick out. You've got to hang on to those in these sorts of conditions.
Liberatore. That's the job on Austin Jones. Both will know they've been in a heck of a game by the end of today. Libba will take it up physically to Jones, but Jones will take him on with the run.
It's a nice compliment to Aussie Jones, though, just really starting out in his football career.
So you can see the matchups there. Dimatina with Burke just to the left of screen. Krediok with Winmar. Krediok wins this one. His quick kick out towards the line. So this game really settling down to the one-on-one matchups. You see the Western Bulldogs runner, Chris Burton, out there ensuring that things were right. Libba into Jones's ear, as he will be all day. Thompson with the job on Scott West in the midfield, and the 2 big men go at it. Wine down to Krediok again, just kicks it forward. Bounces towards Jones, but the last bounce favours Liberatore. His handball along the line goes out, and deliberately. Yes.
Yes, umpire Matthew Norton on the job there, Will, so playing the free kick immediately. He had nowhere to go, but deliberately went for the boundary line free kick.
Aussie's taken his free kick, up short of half forward, kept in by Harvey, the magician of Waverley. Centering kick, straight onto the chest of Matthew Dent. Dent up towards centre wing. Here's Jones with Libba again. Zilla goes off the ground. West, leading possession winner for the Bulldogs this year, Scott West. Bouncing at centre half forward. Grant, belted round the neck, will take the free kick. against Justin Peckett.
Sirikowski, what was it?
Sirah.
Yep. It's pretty untidy too, Drew, because obviously Grant was just intent on the footy, did it very well, knowing the pressure was coming to him. So just bobbed the ball up in the air, drew the tackle, which should have been around the waist. That was untidy. In fact, in that situation with Grant bobbing the ball up, a hip and shoulder would have been far better.
So Grant looking to score the first goal of the game. Right in front, 50 metres out. Breeze just about at his back, but a bit fluky, and it's away to the right, and barely brings up a score. So I think John Russo might have described this all right. It is a very tricky breeze.
Chris Grant picked up the 3 Brownlow medal votes last time these two sides played late last year, which ended up tallying 20 for the season. But whatever he picks up today or in the future won't help him in this season, having been suspended for 1 game already. Troy Gray, one of the options there. Peckett decides to kick short to himself, then runs another 15 metres and kicks over the top there. Over the top of Sirikowski's head.
It's the second poor use of the ball from the kick out. The first one went straight to Grant. This time it's gone out of bounds.
So Luke Darcy. Kick from some 60 metres out, looking for the options. Minton Connell has led. Grant comes now, goes towards him. He's not going to make it. Falls short there of Cook. And Grant coming through very strongly. Western Bulldogs and a little bit too aggressively in the end.
Yeah, it had to be a free kick, Terry. He's just pushed, delivering the back on that tackle. You've got to protect the play. Now there's 50. You're not giving the ball back quickly and directly. So Ryan Sawyer's just setting the scene early, which is good to see. So here it is, over the top. Now as he goes to ground, they fall on top of him once again, Grant and also Contessa. So definite free kick there.
So Lappin takes a free kick in towards Lowe. He couldn't complete the mark. Winmar running onto the ball, confronted by Southern. Hall in to assist. The tackle from Ellis is good and strong. Ball forced over the line and out.
And he's now going to play a free kick against Hall.
So Southern takes the free kick. Kicks long outside 50. Low backing back. Smith drops the mark that was there. Winmar diving in on top. Now it goes over the line and out of bounds. This time will be thrown in, but some 80 metres around from the St Kilda goal.
There's an umpire, Mark Nash, just saying to Barry Hall that free kick to Southern was just for intentional physical contact when the ball wasn't around.
Well, I'd say keep watching that contest because there might be a bit more of it between Southern and Hall. That's a rough old pair. Have a look at those two. I'm sure Mrs. Hall and Mrs. Southern very happy with their boys. Stewie Lowe slaps the ball out of the air. You can hear it as well. And slaps the ball out of Ellis's arms. Thompson butters up. And once again for a tackle. But illegal, says the umpire.
That's a good call too, Drew. Sorry to jump in there. Ramiro was just pushing the back. The intent from him was the ball pushing behind. It's got to be a free kick.
Centre wing, Johnson spoiled by Peckett. And the ball out of bounds near the interchange gate. And we'll have a throw-in. Ball's been out of bounds a lot. We've had quite a lot of throw-ins. We've had no goals. And it looks like being the tight contest that this game promised. Bulldogs 3 behinds. St Kilda 2 behinds. And we're nearly halfway through the first quarter. Here's Peter Everett. Off the left towards the 50. Lappin. Spills to Ellis. He breaks the tackle. And Ellis out towards the outer side. Aussie Jones with a chance. Ball from behind Libber. Aussie's quick. Terrific play by Jones. Winmar. Oh, should have marked. Still a chance for Nicky Winmar. Led by Southern. And he'll take a free kick.
Good professional free kick there by Southern. Knew Winmar was going to get around it.
The pass back into Hall. It improves the angle but not the distance. He's still 50 metres from goal.
Terrific play too by Joel Smith to pick up that loose ball in one hand, turn in these greasy conditions and get the ball centrally towards Winmar. That's a good setup.
So can Barry Hall, the boxer, get the first goal of the game. He's even got the boxing glove on the tat on the shoulder. Be a tough kick, this. Won't make it. Heatley, a leap at the back, comes to Lappin. Couldn't get it back far enough. And another behind. The score's level at 3 behinds each.
Matthew Lappin has been a goal scorer for the Saints this year. He's kicked 11 goals in the last 6 games. And John, the conditions. John?
Yeah, the conditions are still very, very blustery down here. The rain has pulled up, but the ground is greasy.
So Smith eventually, the kick out for Dimatina. He goes long, out of bounds on the outer side. Very swirly conditions, making it difficult for players. With conditions such as these, the midfield becomes extra important, with players being able to run hard through there and carry the ball. St Kilda showing just an edge in pace just at this early stage of the game. Kolonyuk off the ground for the Bulldogs. Hudson misses it. Sierakowski wrapped up though by Grant. Play on the call. Peckett paddling along on ground, confronted by Johnson. Here comes Credier from half-back, number 35 from 50 metres out. Kicks in towards Cook, bustling against Gray. Gray coming back hard. Cook pushes Gray and the ball over the line and out of bounds. Cook asking the question of the umpire, claiming he was in the front position. His side now probably has a very good opportunity for boundary throwing from the forward pocket. Wine will look to get it over the back. Tries, but Everett equal to the task. He nicked down to front towards Burke. He allows it to go over the line. Kolonyuk and Dimatina there with him. Congratulating Nathan Burke on his performance last week for the Victorian side, I'm sure. Wine and Everett. Great play, Smith. There has been a play, Roscoe, with Scotty Wine of just deliberately taking the opposition ruckman under the ball and allowing the player to come through.
So just bustling through there, but Smith to read that perfectly is not an easy thing, particularly got someone running with you. Then to finish off with the goal is a great bit of play. And even again to set that up with these swirly conditions as the ball is thrown in, not easy. Well done.
Well, it took nearly 16 minutes for the first goal in the game. A terrific run by Rowan Smith to shark the boundary throwing. Out of the middle, here's Robert Harvey. With penetration into the breeze. Comes to the front to Lappin. All St Kilda. Stewie Lowe peels off. Back to Lappin. His hand pass straight up in the air. It's a miracle they didn't get a goal out of that. West to Southern. Well, if Lappin's hand pass to Lowe had hit the target, it would have been put down the glasses.
Yeah, that was the sad thing about it, Drew. It was a poor handball in his left hand, no distance in it.
Now a free kick to Chris Grant up on centre wing. Minton Connell. Shanahan at the front. Zilla didn't have time. And both teams are blocking up this ground pretty well. A very large playing surface, Waverley. And they're making it look like a postage stamp. 1 goal only so far in the game.
Just under 9 minutes of play remaining. Western Bulldogs ahead by 6 points with that one and only goal to Rowan Smith. West working in the contest, was held, but play's allowed to go on. Ramiro works the ball on the outer side, on the boundary line, drags it back across the body. 2 of each side there in the contest. The assistants are up. Cook with a chance off the ground, traps it, keeps it in. Collingwood, he loves these on the left. Bulldogs out to 1 goal 4. St Kilda the 3 behinds. Stephen Collingwood having played every game this year. In each of the last 3 seasons he's had a knee surgery just to keep his left knee up and going. Peckett again. Does the kicking in short to Cripps. Held up in the back pocket by Colin Yook. Cripps in short. Zilla steps around, wants to play on, does that. The Cook smother was sufficient. Contessa, the debutant, into West. Pressure from Thompson was good for St Kilda. Burke and Harvey combining, trying to get it out. Ramiro and Smith again. Smith runs his full distance from 60 metres out. It's a long drop punt. It's home. Both goals for the Western Bulldogs to Rowan Smith.
This isn't so telling. You've got someone with pace who can use that pace to get away from a player. Good pressure by the Saints here, but good pressure also then in return from the Bulldogs just to put it on, and then the Ramiro handball to Smith. There's that pace, and then to drive from outside 50. Obviously the breeze just freshening a bit in some stages, and that certainly favoured him that time. Great kick.
Well, Rowan Smith certainly doesn't seem to be affected by his mid-season appearance for Victoria in State of Origin last week. He's come back on fire. The only 2 goals of the game. Winmar's hand pass. In a bit of trouble. Crediuk over his shoulder inside the 50. Minton Connell wrestles off Shanahan. 2 former Tasmanians. Smith for a hat-trick. Just touched near the line by Gray. That comes out to Sirakoski. Sirakoski's kick. Good spoil by Dimatina. And that kick out of bounds on the full.
I think it came off West, Drew, or Dimatina's foot, so definitely a free hit to St Kilda.
Roscoe, Jason Cripps just can't keep with Rowan Smith. And Smith puts his foot on the accelerator as well.
Yep.
And Nathan Burke took the free kick, and that's his first kick. He has been absolutely superb this season, Burke. And now here's Harvey, and Hall marks in front of Southern. Barry Hall, that 2.5 kicks to goal from there. Lappin in the chop, it gets to the back of the pack to Everett. Everett handles the hand pass below. Once again didn't hit the target. And again they don't get a goal out of it.
Yeah, in a game like this, Drew, you've got to make sure those handballs hit targets. Particularly Everett just fumbling a bit. The pressure came to him, but then just couldn't quite control it, Stewie Lowe. And a desperate effort by both the Footscray defenders there. And Rowan Smith kicking goals and also now kicking out the other end of the ground.
St Kilda with opportunities right in the 10-metre square. Rowan Smith, in contrast to Justin Peckett at the other end, elects to go long over the top of Wind. Thompson missed the run. He comes back a second time. Number 29 for the Saints. Scott West, his opponent, kicks it off the line. Out of bounds on the full. Back in. Peckett receives. He's at centre-half back. Conscious of bringing it towards the near side. Winmar, a second fumble from Nicky. Up to Gathering again. In towards Lowe. Doesn't even reach that player. Harvey. Crediuk crashing in. Lowe comes in now. Players are bounding upon the ball there, right on the 50-metre line.
Free kick now against Winmar, and it's going to go to Jose Ramiro. Just a push him to the ground.
The frustration surely now starting to seep into the St Kilda makeup. Opportunities within 10 yards of goal. They've messed up. Sirakoski from centre-half back, a high ball. Dent working hard in the front position. Johnson, just a little give there to Dimatina. He in turn chips in dangerously in towards Wind. Doesn't reach that player. It's now a small man's game, but the big man comes back. Good handball. Scott West, a left foot. Wobbles it up into the forward line. Sirakoski. Better judgment than Grant on the wobbling ball, takes the mark.
So here's David Sirakoski up towards centre wing. Hall and Southern again. As a push by Southern, and the free kick goes the Saints' way. Advantage comes up to Lowe, and he didn't take it. He popped the hand pass straight up in the air. So the umpire quite rightly says, bring it back, and Barry Hall will take the free kick. Sirakoski in the hands of trainers. Well, the Saints made a lightning start 2 weeks ago against Carlton, and so far today they haven't managed a goal. Lowe takes another mark. Winmar in the goal square, trying to shake free, but he goes short to Burke. Mark taken 45 metres from goal. Nathan Burke goes for the goal, and he's missed 2. 5 behind St Kilda.
Yes, he was limping, Sierkowski, after he kicked the ball after taking a mark and was contested with Chris Grant, who's with him at the moment, so he may have just niggled an ankle or something on the way down.
Darryl Wakeland is a St Kilda player on the bench. He'd be looked to be the replacement if needed to play on Chris Grant. So we'll let that one sort itself out as Smith comes shorter on this occasion. Southern misses it. Joel Smith slips over uncharacteristically but comes back again. A long kick, and you can see Heatley there, Jason Heatley. Not very happy with the delivery of that ball. He wants it out in front of goal, not blazed away as that one did and drifted away to the near side and out of bounds on the full. Matthew Croft has the job on Stuart Lowe. Kicks out towards that player and gives it to him. Well, if that call is right,
a free kick to Wine. Wheels, push.
One position to Scott Wine.
You see, takes the front posse, Everett's arm over the shoulder, but the umpire also saying there's a push. Certainly arm over the shoulder.
The umpires this week have been asked to pay more free kicks. They did on that occasion, but not on that one to Brent. Sierkowski takes the mark, delivers back to centre forward. Low, then Hall. Hall tackled there by Contessa. Inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Scott West works at ground level to Contessa. Steps one back out. Zilla tosses it up. Is it going to float over the line? It has. It's hit the post. St Kilda now 6 behind. They haven't had a first quarter this year yet when they haven't scored a goal. One go 2 against Brisbane as their lowest first quarter score.
Yeah, Scott Allen's been taken off the ground too by Terry Wallace, and Paul Hudson's on for his first run.
Rowan Smith has kicked the goals and has also kicked in a mile from full back. Low goes to ground, it spills to Hall. Good handling. Everett. Not good handling. Harvey with class. Thompson up and down the mine shaft. Play on, says the umpire. Punched out by Croft outside the 50. All Bulldogs here. What a game Rowan Smith's having. The hand pass out in front to Johnson. He can nearly kick this himself, Brad Johnson. 45 metres out. Magnificent.
That's a terrific turnaround, Drew, to attack from half-back and get that to result in a goal. It's just outstanding footy. Did that remind you of the effort in the last 2 minutes of the state game last week with Brad Johnson running through the midfield, kicks the ball towards goal and Archer takes the mark. Guess who's involved again? Rowan Smith. Look at this setup. 2 players running onto it. Shepherd from Hudson just to keep the players clear. No one coming towards him from St Kilda. No one prepared to break from their man and take the punt to run at him and create the bit of a fumble. Easy goal.
So the Western Bulldogs being served well by their Victorian representatives from last week. Rowan Smith with the first 2 goals and Brad Johnson now with the third. St Kilda under pressure in the first quarter.
Well, that goal really typifies what Terry Wallace has been trying with this side this year. Tuck it under the wing, go for a run, bust them up. And those 2 boys have done it all year.
They're a quick pair of runners. Ramiro, he's one of the workers for Terry Wallace. There's the job on Harvey. He's in underneath. Ping for holding the ball. Ramiro playing his 50th game for the Bulldogs today. After a stint at North Melbourne, now it's Harvey away. His kick in towards Heatley. The spoil there is by Croft. Southern, good roving to Dent. Goes out wide dangerously to Jones and Liberatore again. Liberatore wins this one out at ground level to Contessa. The Collingwood look-alike on the left foot. Grant looks for Collingwood with a handball. Doesn't get there, being held there by Sierkowski. Allowed to go on. Collingwood and Peckett wrestling off the ball. Cripps comes through. Defensive kick over the line and out. Crowd baying for free kicks from the umpire. 2 big men. Mind averaging 15 hit-outs a game, Everett 14. Tight tussle. Peckett from defence for St Kilda. Floats over the top of Lowe and Ellis. Heatley couldn't manage it. Needs a St Kilda player running back onto it. Wasn't there. Predio does the clearing off the ground. The Bulldogs set up again through the centre. This time through Johnson again. Pushes in towards Grant. Got him. Spins around. Gives it off to Hudson. Settles from 35. Does Paul Hudson. Footscray got 4.
And again, that set up from half-back too, Wills. They're just running the ball freely through the midfield, going toward home the straight way, not going round the outside, straight down the middle. Johnson once more just shrugging the tackles. Good catch here by Grant too. Breezy ball, good control, and then just turns quickly, sees his teammate inside Hudson, who realises he can play on. There's the finish.
Well, even though this breeze is fluky, it definitely does look as though it's blowing to the left-hand end, favouring the Bulldogs in this first quarter. So Nathan Burke's decision to run into the breeze in the first quarter, a bit surprising. Ramiro goes off the ground. Here's Grant, gets the hand pass back to Jose. Little kick by Jose to full forward. Cook does well, but Minton Connell or Hudson couldn't handle. Hudson for St Kilda, back to Harvey. Out of defence to Jones with Liberatore. Jones popped it in for his teammate Peckett. Robert Harvey followed up. Magnificent tackle by Contessa, holding the ball, Harvey. Now there's Contessa in his first game against an out-and-out champ, Robert Harvey. Welcome to league football, Adam Contessa. A 20-year-old making his debut. That's pretty hard to do.
Very good work from the debutant. Gives it off, but this time Western Bulldogs aren't able to go in as well as they would have liked. All 4 goals to the Western Bulldogs have come from players running onto goal. Hasn't been a set shot that's been converted by that side just yet. That does give them the strength at the moment. Everett gathers the ball from ground, kicks long on the left foot. West tried with the left hand, but his opponent Thompson barges through. Quickly on into half forward. Lappin couldn't take it for the Saints. Defensively now the Western Bulldogs tied up. Brad Johnson the last one up. Stan Elves. A birthday yesterday, 51 years of age. Marseille doesn't look too bad.
Considering he's been coach for 3.5 years, it's fantastic.
And considering the start that the Saints had and the pressure that they were under, and here they are playing for equal top spot on the ladder. And a wonderful turnaround by the Saints. Only won 1 of their first 5 games, but have won 6 of the last 7. But they're under challenge here now, inside their offensive 50. Lappin, great spin out, kicks. Ball went to ground, so did Southern, but he was on the favoured side of the ball, takes the mark.
And again, just slipping over, Wills. It's just that footwear or the ground just deceptively slippery.
Just seconds remaining in the first quarter, and the Saints look like going goalless for the first term. Might have been a little bit of a throw out there by Lappin, the ball out of play, and we'll have a throw in. Clock stops with 7 seconds remaining, and the Western Bulldogs 4 goals for to 6 behinds. They have jumped them at the start, like they did with Port Adelaide 2 weeks ago, but the Bulldogs have to keep going. There's Contessa, who laid the tackle of the match against Harvey. Quarter time at Waverley, and St Kilda, who came in as slight favourites, trailing the Bulldogs by 22 points. What a quarter by the Bulldogs. And Terry Wallace was critical of them 2 weeks ago when they dropped the game to Port Adelaide. He reckons they were all going for the showy kicks, but today there have been blokes in under packs getting it out and others benefiting.
Exactly, Drew. That's the work ethic they've put to the fore today. They've just got it off half-back, run through the middle, and as Will said, all 4 goals have come from running shots. As Dimartina just saying a few words, getting involved. It's been fairly physical in a sense where players have had to go at each other off the ball. But Footscray, just too much leg speed, and the players getting the footy in that area of Johnson. Also Rowan Smith, of course, just using to advantage, and the score's on the board.
So to start the second quarter, St Kilda a goalless first quarter. Definitely looking to get the first one here, but they'll be denied here by Dimartina. The first one in the ball for the Western Bulldogs. and the tenacity of those players in the centre of the ground, forcing the umpire in to bounce the ball once again.
Now, Dimartino kept Burke to just 3 touches in the first quarter.
And that's been the difference between the two sides early. But the Western Bulldog players through the centre of the ground have got plenty of ball. Tony Brown on the ground after spending the first quarter on the bench. His left foot kicked to half forward. Eventually now it sits with Joel Smith under pressure. Loses the ball under that pressure. Ellis cleaning up from half-back for the Western Bulldogs towards Liberatore. He decides to let it go for Grant. Looking to do the shepherding. And then straight back to his target for the afternoon, Austin Jones.
I hope Aussie Jones is patient, because remember how Libba made life an absolute misery for young Ben Cousins over in Perth in a Friday night game. Takes a bit to withstand the pressure, verbal and physical all day. Burke's kick smothered by guess who, Rowan Smith. What a game Rowan Smith is having. Pat on the head from Dimartino.
Yeah, you'd be happy when someone else perfects a smother on the man you're chasing, and that's Burke. That's why Dimartino was so pleased, other than the fact it was a sensational smother.
Sirakoski in ruck. Grant comes from behind him to in front. Sira gets a fist to it, back towards the boundary line, and we'll have another throw in. Paul Dimartino has had a magnificent season. Been a bit of a journeyman, struggled to to win the plaudits from a couple of other clubs. Finally found a home at the Western Bulldogs and has really blossomed this year. Grant wins in ruck, comes to Peckett. He's kicked back towards centre wing. Beautifully read there, and a lightning hand pass to Contessa. It came from Dent. Wine takes the mark. On to Hudson. 5th goal for the Bulldogs. Yes!
There's a certain degree of confidence just running through this Bulldog side at the moment, and it's just infectious all through the lines. Anyone who gets involved, Contessa just spots the skipper, takes the mark, and just quickly on, far too easily. And Hudson, it's a good finish from there, not an easy goal in these conditions. That's what he's there for.
So Hudson gets his 2nd goal, both in similar circumstances, receiving the ball inside 50 and then running on. It's the bounce that favours Everett, a double-handed push on out towards Harvey, and he immediately wrapped up in the tackle from Romero. Robert Harvey, a magnificent game last week for Victoria. Already has 3 E.J. Whitten medals in his collection at home. He was possibly very close to a 4th last weekend, but this weekend back for the Saints, really feeling the pressure. Romero works with Scotty West, who feeds on out to Johnson. His kick into the forward line, out in front of both Minton Conlon and Grant. Minton Conlon going too far with the ball, held on it far too long. The tackle from Sirakoski allowed to be legal from the umpire. Now turns defence out with the umpire. Another free kick being awarded a point of this marking contest. He's giving it way off the ball to Paul Hudson.
Against Zilla, must have been. I didn't see it, Wheels. I can't help you there.
Well, they were out there by themselves. So Hudson now in towards Cook, under pressure from Gray and Everett. Gray wheels around, little give to Burke, tries back to Gray, a 3rd one. They're messing around the Saints. They need a kick. Everett's the boy to do that. In short to Peckett. He in turn delivers out wide. Winmar with Crediuk from behind. Winmar bustles, holds the front position, does his own roving, stepping this way and that. Over top towards Tony Brown. Good effort, can't complete it. Comes up again, tries to take the tackle on with Ellis. He charges through the defender, and the ball rolls over the line and out of bounds. Stephen Colnyuk giving an accolade towards Ellis. That's twice now in a matter of minutes he's charged the ball down to centre half-back.
Through like a bulldozer. Grant and Sirakoski. Give it to Grant. Well, there's no room here for Nathan Burke. Dimartino was onto him like a flash. And Burke thought it was his free kick, but the umpire's going to ball it up. Ball held in. And those Bulldogs are really sticking to their task. Sirakoski down to Cripps. Low. of the marking contest. Work from Ellis and a free kick to Lowe. Had a fair grip of his arm. He just tucked it in with his own elbow. He used his arm like a bagpipe. Now Stewie Lowe from centre wing. Saints still goalless. The kick inside 50. Chance. The boxer. Winmar at the back. Contessa's been a very good player in his first game. Caught by Heatley. And the umpire will ball it up. Daniel Healy's come on for St Kilda. Joel Smith interchanged. Just one kick in the first quarter, Smith. And the Smith from the Western Bulldogs, Rowan Smith, has been the star.
So Croft to Ramiro. He just goes along the ground with the handball. There's no risks from the Bulldogs' defence. Any hesitation, they're pushing the ball out wide towards the boundary line. But once having achieved that, they're seemingly much more direct this week than they were a fortnight ago against Port Adelaide. And perhaps they fiddled with the ball a little too much. But here's Harvey, takes it from the boundary, throwing his kick forward. Great spoil there from Croft. Making that extra metre of ground on Heatley and just getting the big fist in there to knock it away.
There's 18 matchups going on around the ground, and the Bulldogs are just smothering them.
Kilda now looking to try and break the shackles here. Their last score a long time ago. Lowe does the right thing over the back. Healy couldn't get through. Crediot with a volleyball serve out of the pack. West. Now here's Lappin working the ball and working for a free. Gets neither. And again the pack forms. When there are matchups like this, Drew, a one-man in, you'll always get 2 and then 3, 4, 5, 6, multiples of 2 in whatever happens. Rowan Saws, bounce it right on 50. Forcing Kilda, Lowe to do the ruck against Lowe, doesn't clear. Smith kicks out wide. Grant just finesses the ball a little there, wants to feed him ball. Jones against his opponent, Liberatore. Liberatore wins out on the left foot into the 50. Collinyook, pressured from Zilla, comes back a second time. Gray bundles him up and the ball goes over the line and out. So 4 goals in the opening quarter for the Western Bulldogs. The first and only of this second. That being to Paul Hudson. Now they're back inside their 50 for another chance at it. Grant feeds in ball. Collinyook from the one-step standing start. Drags it far across his body. Bounces on the line. And out of bounds, so therefore a boundary throw in.
Pretty poor effort by Collinyook, really, Wills. I mean, it was untidy, just all the work done for him. He just threw it under his boot, no intent anywhere, really.
Cook just shoves Gray out of the play, takes the ball. The umpire allows it to go on. His snapshot didn't score. Now comes back to Hudson. This way, that way. Straightens up, kicks Grant at the back. Kilda fans may feel a little bit hard done by from that ruck contest. And now fortune favoured the Western Bulldogs with the kick just floating over the top of Sierakowski's outstretched hands. A miss kick falling in the hands of Chris Grant.
Minton Connell going off. He's kickless, so he just can't find the leather at the moment.
So Grant has had one shot, goes for his second shot, steps out, curls it round on the left. But another missed to the number 3 for the Western Bulldogs.
Simon Minton Connell going through a horror stretch in the last 3 weeks. But he's their leading goal kicker with 39 for the season. And all of a sudden just can't find it. Peckett's kick in to Shanahan. This is dangerous. Oh, almost a mark to the Bulldogs. Couldn't quite drag it in, Ellis. Now Brown. Harvey. Kick by Harvey to half-forward Lappin. Good mark.
Gee, that's great running by Harvey. He went 100 miles an hour from about 20 metres away just to get past.
Winmar pops it up. Heatley couldn't take the mark. Croft. Thompson. Hand pass fell short. The hand passing on the forward line just hasn't been finding the mark. Thompson again. Heatley bowled over by Ellis. Southern. Bowled over by Lowe. It's still there for the Saints. Lappin. Hall. Good tackle by Croft. He won't win a free kick, but a ball up. And the pressure there was fantastic.
Yeah, I think Stan's message at quarter time spot on with their skill work, particularly by hand, just been very poor today.
Can the Saints get their first goal? We've been playing 11 minutes in the second quarter. Heatley bounces one through.
Well, it might be all they need, Drew, just to get them going now, because they've had their fair share of the footy in the first quarter, particularly the stats were pretty even. Watch this again. Umpire saw us perfecting a shepherd there. Just quickly onto the boot was Heatley. That's a clever goal. No question when they need it. It might just give them that little bit of a spark to get themselves back into this game.
So St Kilda's first goal through Jason Heatley pulls the lead of the Western Bulldogs now back to 23. As Ross Glendenning said, could just be the catalyst for the Saints to come back at this side now. They are at half forward. Lappin trying to win the ball out. Thompson flicks on out towards Brown to Winmar. Steps around, a good one-handed tackle, falls with Thompson, settles from outside 50, a long right foot kick. Saints have got two in a row.
Yeah, well, sometimes, as you well know, it's all you need is just to, particularly if you're getting the ball, your skills are down a bit, you get a goal on the board, it just gives everyone a bit of a lift. The intensity just lifts a little, and players run to assist, all the little things to help out, see reward for effort. Winmar just cleverly being slung, still gets his kick away. That's a great kick by Thompson, obviously seeing where Rowan Smith had kicked his goal from. Distance, no problem.
Well, the Saints fans at last have something to cheer about. 2 goals in a minute. Lowe in ruck. Wins for the Saints, but pretty up for the Bulldogs. Cripps gets rid of Smith. One of the few out-and-out wins he's had against Rowan Smith. Out of play, centre wing. Cripps 5 possessions. Smith's had 7. But Rowan Smith kicked 2 goals. Margin back to 17 points. Lowe goes up against Ellis. Scott West. Short of half forward. Grant tried to come from behind. Sirakoski outmarked him. Quickly on now to Peckett. St Kilda, as they often do from half-back, look to switch the ball to the outer side. Dent couldn't complete the ball. Daniel Southern charging down the wing. A couple of bounces. The forward handball to Hudson. Steps, caught, too slow.
Well, he shaped to kick, Wills, and he should have kicked it the first instant he got the footy, because Grant was on a lead for him, tried to go back into traffic, gone.
So Zilla, one of the leading tacklers for the Saints with Nathan Burke. Big ask from Hudson to take him on. The Saints again doing the switching, this time towards the near side. Peckett going down, just holding the rib cage. Collingwood standing the mark. In short to Cripps. Touch of hesitation to Shanahan. Virtually in the centre of the ground. A terrible kick from Jamie Shanahan. Perhaps too close to goal for him. Into Croft now, coming across from half-back. Croft finds Luke Darcy, spent time on the bench. Comes on now the left foot. Penetrating towards centre forward. Grant couldn't complete it. Sirakoski there. Works it again with Thompson. Thompson picking up possessions in the second quarter. Poor kick. And Matthew Dent for the Bulldogs in defence. Well, Thompson's had 10 possessions, and he is a player a bit like Paul Dimatina, who's taken a while to get recognition. Contessa going great guns in his first game. Burke at his back to the ball. Dimatina took it away. Nathan Burke. Hudson centres. Better. Ellis drags it down. Scott Allen. And here's Allen, who has just played 14 games in 4 seasons. He's been a real bits part man
for the Western Bulldogs. In the last 3 seasons, he's played 5 games, 6 games, 2 games, and this is now his first this year.
A quick change too, Drew, by Terry Wallace. Collianook off, and young Nathan Brown is on.
Now, Scott Allen. It hasn't proved to be the goal-scoring end today. Can he get their second this quarter? Funny old spin to it, but it's a goal.
Is that the helicopter into the breeze, that one?
Yeah.
Just had it going the other way. Still a good kick because, as Drew said, it's been so difficult to score at that end, and for whatever reason, that swirly breeze is, other than Paul Hudson kicking on the run that way. This is a good kick. Good mark too. Followed up well.
From Port Arlington is Scotty Allen. So Scott Allen's goal for the Bulldogs to the right of screen end stops St Kilda's 2 consecutive goal run. Now the Western Bulldogs working forward again. Darcy has been mobile in the centre bounce area in the last few minutes. Kicks towards Grant. He just wheels around to the left. Hudson stepped off the ball again. Zilla coming through, gets the high tackle. Cripps in short. There's 3 Saints there. Nathan Burke's the one that takes it. His kick out slightly wide. Grant floating back. Very good mark. A little bit of class starting to come to the top of the contest now. Chris Grant being one of those players. His kick off the 1 step isn't a good one. That's not the way we coached to Chris. It was always to get back, take 4 or 5 steps and be balanced. The Saints now turning it back around inside 50. Grant's there. The contest comes over the back of him. Contessa flicks it back. Nathan Burke fumble but flicks into the Saints forward line. Low with an opportunity. Croft in the front position. Takes it. Wheels around on his left foot. Liberatore and Jones. Both go to grounds. Jones up first. Comes around. Feeds the handball back. Lappin has time to settle. Kicks. Kicks at goal. And kicks a goal. First goal to Matthew Lappin.
Sorry, Wills. I mean, it's just a perfect setup for young Lappin too. Great work by Aussie Jones. The ball coming out, one-on-one with Liver. Sturio couldn't get back here in time. Croft beat him to it. Then the kick coming out from Croft was all he could do, just to his teammate. But then the one-out battle there was well done by Jones. Then goes back inside, and Lappin, just watch this, takes his time, deliberately sets up, and finishes off well. Good kick.
Margin back to 17 points. Everett perhaps needing to lift a little bit in the ruck. Harvey gets it going the Saints' way. Burke might take a free kick and will. In fact, it's coming back further to Robert Harvey. They've kicked 3 out of the last 4, the Saints. Kicked by Harvey. Low. Aussie Jones. Well done, Libba. Had no right to get back there and beat him for pace. West for the Bulldogs. Players down behind play. West a good kick to Dent. The crowd starting to get involved. The crowd mostly St Kilda fans. It's a Saints home ground. And they're starting to find something to shout about. 41-24, Bulldogs lead. Cretiuk's kick pinpoint. Grant marks just inside the line.
So Chris Grant, some 13 disposals already. That was his 7th mark. Putting a stamp on this game at this moment. Kicks, a bit of a wobbler into centre half forward. Luke Darcy, great mark. Gives it off to Smith. He's on his non-preferred left, but the kick's a good one. Floats over the top. Gives Hudson a chance. Zilla pressuring him. Hudson working for the free. No given there by the umpire. St Kilda with the opportunity. Thompson back to Peckett. Settles. A good use of the ball out wide. Oh no, it's not. Brown could have gathered that, he was away.
If that ground was just slightly dry, Wills, the balls wouldn't have skidded away from him. Might have sat up a bit more, given him a chance to run on.
Free kicks this quarter, giving St Kilda the advantage.
Brett Johnson's off quickly too, Wills, and Colin back on.
Winmar being pressured by Credior. That wins out. Hudson now with another opportunity. Again, he decides to step one way, the other way. Now he shoots at goal, and he's picked up a second for the quarter.
As you've said so often, that's what he's there for, to get those opportunist type goal. He'll always hang on to the footy inside 50, give himself a chance to have a shot. Just good pressure then by Credior to get rid of Winmar, and then trying to evade everyone as Hudson sets himself up. And the way the skills have been today, that's a terrific kick.
Paul Hudson has now kicked 3 goals. That's 17 goals, 16 for the year. Everett wins in the middle, but the ball thumped back by Credior. To Darcy. Good running by the Doggies. Wine. Back to Darcy. The big bloke sharing it here. Now they've lost it. Zilla off the ground. Shanahan just outside 50. Brown. Credior well done. To Brown again. It'll go back to Credior. Free kick to Credior. Credior playing just his 4th game of the year. Hands off to Collinwood, and the kick wide to the pocket where Hudson marks, and now Paul Hudson will be kicking for his 4th goal.
Not a good option pushing the fellow wide into the pocket, but the option being Hudson, his form at the moment shooting goal, not a bad one.
I don't know how much protection he'll be getting from the stand there, probably a fair bit, but the breeze will be going right across this kick, making it well nigh impossible. Just across the face of goal, and a behind to Paul Hudson. That's 3 goals, 1. But if he didn't learn how to kick a football in his family, nobody's got a chance.
Paul Hudson started the game on the bench and certainly has had the impact that coach Terry Wallace would have wanted. So St Kilda from the kick-off. Peckett and Harvey out towards the 2 big fellows. Peter Everett, the big saint. He spent a bit of time on the bench last week. Quite a bit of time, actually, in the Victorian side. He was used as a backup ruckman to Paul Salmon. Wind had the privilege of the weekend off. He wins this one, just dropping it down to the left. Grant working in the corner. Look at that. Harvey just steals the ball. Steps out of it. His kick into the forward line for Hall. Over the top of that player. It's loose at half forward. Burke went in at it. Southern under press from Lapham. The tackle perhaps too high.
Oh, really?
No, says the umpire.
Goodness me. Where's the protection for the bloke making the effort on the footy?
So Daniel Southern, he's the player charging hard at it. Yep.
Can't get any higher than that.
The umpire bounces the ball on 50. Harvey will give out towards Healy. He under pressure there from Contessa. Dimartina, his handball taken from Zilla, giving it to Harvey. He in turn gives it to Burke. Nathan Burke one behind on the scorecard against him. He's only kicked 3 goals for the season. But if his side needs one, this is it. One of the 2 co-captains with the Saints, and Stuart Lowe. So from some 40 metres out on the boundary, forced through from the contest for a behind.
Darryl Wakeland warming up to come on. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half. 48-25. 23-point lead to the Western Bulldogs. Most people tipped St Kilda, and I think they were the bookies' favourite, even though the Bulldogs are top of the ladder, a game clear of the pack. Rowan Smith taking time to kick in. Southern's there, and Credior. Credior, tough kick out of a big pack, out of bounds at centre wing. Hall, the man to come off for Wakeland. Everett and Wine. Wine to Brownlow medalist. Everett wore the big white V last week. West spreads out a hand pass. Sirakoski intercepts. Chance for the Saints now. Tony Brown on the run. His kick inside centre half forward. Ellis left it mid-air. It gets behind the pack. Ellis recovered beautifully. Well played by Craig Ellis. That's confidence and finds touch.
It's about 3 or 4 times now, Drew, where St Kilda players haven't had the run behind the pack to run onto the loose footy. They've been sitting too far away, and Footscray been able to, Western Bulldogs been able to mop up far too easily. That's good play by Ellis. Terrific kick.
So just on 3 minutes of play remaining in the first half. St Kilda 25, Western Bulldogs 48. Lowe tries to take it out of the ruck under pressure from Ellis. Ellis drags the ball back in. Harvey, he's pressured by Romero. It has been a contest to date of one-on-one matchups. Robert Harvey continues to run hard. Some 12 disposals.
Yeah, 12's all right, but it's, you know, it's not 18 or something, and he'd often be up to 18 about this stage of a game.
I think the two players, Lowe and Harvey, they hold the key. They need to be able to break the shackles, and perhaps also this man, Winmar, drags it across. There's the contest there with Joel Smith and Contessa. And once again, the Bulldog defence force it over for a behind. 3 goals, 8. Many of those missed opportunities, but also many as a result of strong defence from the Bulldogs.
Yes, I have 3 rushed behinds. Here's Rowan Smith, who kicked the first 2 goals of the game. Looking for Danny Southern. It clears the pack. Darcy tries to run onto it. And this is about the biggest playing arena there is in football. And when you consider there were about 8 players just piled one on top of the other there, it's incredible. Last 2 minutes of the first half. Darcy just poleaxed Stuart Lowe. The ball back out of bounds, and the St Kilda fans not happy.
It's not a bad jump.
Yeah, I mean, his eyes were on the footy, so that's where his intent was.
Here they go again. Darcy wins again, this time by fist. And a pat on the rump from Paul DiMartina. And Darcy and Lowe to contest once more. 7-6 to 3 goals, 8. Whistle's gone. It's going to be a Bulldogs free. Advantage to Liberatore. Centering kick. Grant. This is 40 metres out. Ellis, what are you doing up there? Kicks it behind. There's the centre half back.
And they don't mind a shot once they get that close, do they?
Well, batsmen love the bowl.
It's a fair assessment. He hasn't kicked a goal yet, Craig Ellis. And actually hasn't kicked a goal in AFL football. So once you get that close, I think with those statistics behind you, you want to have a digger. And the Saints again. Peckett and Cripps still haven't got it outside 50. Now they do to Tony Brown. Came on at quarter time to take on Scott West. Back to Peckett. There is some running the Saints side, but it isn't quite as fluent as Stan Els would want at the moment. And Darryl Wakeland sees the ball over the line and out. He's only just come onto the ground some 3 or 4 minutes ago. Somewhat a pinch hitter in the forward line, perhaps, trying to steal a goal. He now does the ruck work against Southern, flicks it over the back. Scott West, another stat. Winmar plays the ball on, good work. Kick off the ground, gives his side a chance. A high tackle on Ellis, allowed to go on. Contessa's kick, doesn't clear 50. Everett takes it.
Bit of pressure here, Wilsby. He's got to kick it. He'll certainly get the distance.
Peter Everett's first mark for the afternoon. And really, it wasn't a big man's mark. He needs to take hold of the game in the second half. But here's his opportunity. We'll watch this one go from right behind him. It looks pretty good from all of our seats.
Well, 4 goals in this quarter is a fair effort against the 3 of the Western Bulldogs, but they've made very hard work of it to St Kilda, but they've given themselves a chance to keep in touch going to the long break. Just a bit of pressure there, maybe that tackle high initially, but the kick coming out just off the side of the boot, and as Will said, it wasn't particularly a big man's mark. He took it pretty well with Timotina trying to apply the pressure.
Margin back to 17 points. They trailed by 22 at quarter time, so they really haven't used the breeze, although in the last few seconds they could get another one. Zilla. Low, not quite. There's the siren. The Bulldogs hang on, and the Bulldogs managed 3 into the breeze that quarter. The Saints just 4 with it, but a really strong contest all around the ground with 18 pairs of players going hammer and tongs at it. And the game, Roscoe, living up to most of our expectations. Yeah,
pretty tightened our struggle here. Conditions, not because it's rained much, just a bit of drizzle every now and then, but the top of the ground, pretty greasy. There's some of the mistakes, ball handling mistakes by St Kilda's. There's a bit happening on the ground still. Ramiro and also Robert Harvey and a few others. Umpire Rowan Sawyers is telling the players to get off the ground, and rightly so, just get out of the arena. Get into the half-time break and just cool yourself down. But St Kilda not without their chances, Drew. Still in this game, very much so. And I think that that last 3 or 4 minutes just showed them if they concert their effort, continue throughout the course of the next half, they could certainly come away and win this game.
Well, the umpire's getting a bit of a hoot as they go off the ground. The Bulldogs lead 7-7-49 to St Kilda 4-8-32. Hasn't been doing any of that. Start of the third quarter. Still just 3 kicks in it after the Bulldogs made a great start and the Saints had a goalless first term. Diving mark by Surakoski. And St Kilda working into the breeze in this third term. Winmar towards the outer side. Over the head of Gray. Darcy gets back and fumbles it all the way to the line.
With a Mexican standoff there, Roscoe.
Yes, yeah, Brad Johnson's free for Footscray in their forward half. At the other end, Thompson's free in his forward half. So both staying there at the moment, not picking each other up.
Here goes Everett against Wine. Scott Wine gets 2 gloves to it. Winmar shrugs the tackle of Smith. Good off the left. And there's Thompson taking advantage of, at the moment, having no opponent. Andrew Thompson.
Thompson, formerly on the Footscray supplementary list. Rejected by that club and keen to do well here today. Into centre half forward, Everett steps out of it, does the big fella, scrubs it along the ground. Ellis off the ground, doesn't clear the area. Contessa does so with his left foot right to the centre of the ground. Gray the spoiler. Jones to Zilla, charging through the centre. They kick a poor one under pressure, and Dimatina dropping back takes the mark. Dimatina so very good all day on Nathan Burke. To Grant. 8 marks to Grant. Beautiful use of the ball on the left foot. To a natural left footer in Darcy. Great kick. Hudson inboard. There are Bulldogs virtually everywhere inside 50. Eventually gets to Johnson. He settles. Hits the woodwork.
Well, Thompson realised he had to get down quickly because Johnson was free, but he couldn't get there in time. Probably deserved a goal. There's that left thigh strap from McCorkey. Trying to get some movement back early in this third quarter.
Just as well not picking each other up too closely. Thompson and Johnson a bit too complicated. Yeah. Here's Troy Gray. Once again working towards the outer side. There's Zilla. Thompson peels off him. Now does the shepherding. Zilla comes into Winmar. Good use of the ball by the Saints into the breeze. Nicky Winmar, 4 games short of 200. To centre half forward. Heatley never got near it that time. Comes to Ellis. Along the ground he goes. Robert Harvey will tidy up. 1 touch, Harvey. Perfect. To Burke. Centering kick by Burke. Lappin is there. Good mark. Open forward line. Lappin could nearly kick this. He's hoisted it long and high and gets there.
The margin. And that's a clever kick. We saw him have a shot at the other end of the ground in similar circumstances. Ellis didn't do a bad thing there, trying to get the ball on the ground out of bounds, but the ball just rolled back into play. Harvey quickly to Burke. Here's the setup. And as Drew said, just saw the goal square was free, although the ball still made the distance anyway. Probably took the pressure off himself a bit anyway to kick quickly. Good result.
The first goal of the third quarter to the Saints. Bring him now within 12 points. Western Bulldogs jumped out to 29 points early in the second quarter. Since then, the Saints have worked their way back into the game. Everett to Thompson. One of the free players. Kicks into centre half forward. Too far for Hall, and low. Southern takes the mark. To Dimatina. The little short kick. Liberatore will be matched here by Jones. Burke to Everett. He'll kick with the left foot. Too short for Lowe. Romero steals it. Gives it to Dent. He wheels around. Vacant in centre half back is Smith. Takes it. The late pressure from Winmar. Ryan Smith has 7 kicks. 2 handballs, but more importantly 2 goals. The opening 2 goals of the game. Looking downfield. Goes wide towards Grant. Front position, fumbles it, goes to ground. Thompson stays upright. Predioc's there to pressure him. Serakasi too slow, much too slow. Ball dropped in the tackle. St Kilda stay with possession. Joel Smith around towards Hall. Can't get there. Croft in defence. Very good mark.
Matthew Croft had a lot of trouble with hamstrings, and both thighs heavily guarded. Here's Grant. What a game Chris Grant is playing. That's 9 marks and 17 disposals, and then we're not much past half-time. Smith. Rowan Smith goes on a familiar-looking run. Waited a bit, got dumped, and Shanahan came out and took the mark in front of Simon Minton-Connell. Minton-Connell going through a horror stretch. Joel Smith interchanged in the first half. Kicks long to half-forward. It bounces well for Lappin. Lappin gets past Croft, back out to Heatley, good hands, shot by Heatley, great goal! Six points the difference, here come the Saints.
Could happen behind play too, Drew. There's going to be a free kick. Ryan Sawyers is going to get the free kick in the middle of the ground. It's going to be against St Kilda for interference against Romero. Yes. So the kick, the goal obviously remains, but without the bounce, the free kick.
So there was no centre bounce after that goal. A free kick given to the Western Bulldogs for handling off the ball. They have an opportunity now inside 50. St Kilda stand strong. Big jump from West behind. The ball towards the outer side. Brown keeps it in play eventually. The umpire now wanting to bring it back again.
Free kick to Winmar, is it? Down back behind play there.
So a lot happening off the ball. The ball never got back to the centre bounce area after the last goal.
Hey, Tony Brown's got it, Wills.
So the umpires having their work cut out at the moment. Free kicks even to both sides at half-time. Into the half-forward line of St Kilda. Dimatina sees the ball over the line and out. Now, this is what happened after the goal was scored. Heatley coming back. Romero being held and flung there by Lappin. And so the umpire at the centre bounce area awarded the free kick to the Western Bulldogs. St Kilda have worked their way back now forward. Another opportunity. The defence of the Bulldogs under pressure. Contessa pushing it out. Lowe does the right thing with the spoil. This time the Dogs have an opportunity through Dent. Push out wide. Darcy's the player. Pressure from Gray. Which way is the umpire going to see this? Holding the man. Yep. Darcy's free kick.
Darcy to the centre of the ground. Too high for Rowan Smith. But it bounces all right. Hand pass Dimatina. Back to Smith. Going for number 3. Open goal square. That's a hat-trick to Rowan Smith, and the margin back to 12 points.
And he loves that spot today, Drew. That's the effort here by Darcy. Well played. Pressure by Gray, definitely being held on to. He quickly got up Gray. Darcy did, just played on. Thought the kick might have got himself into trouble, but fortunately over the head of Smith, but favoured DiMartino, who got it on to Smith. To that area there for him, 55 out. Spot on. Umpire never moved. Just a settling goal for the Western Bulldogs.
Well, the Saints got to within 6 points, then gave away a free kick after Heatley's goal, and now steadier by the Bulldogs. Here goes Tony Brown for the Saints. Thompson approaches 50, gets past Croft, didn't get past Croft. And the ball out of bounds. Claimed by Smith that it came off the boots of a Bulldogs player out of bounds on the full, but it will be a throw-in. 56-44.
Stewart low in the front position. Stands as strong as Ellis. Tries to get in Brown to Joel Smith. Lays the ball across the foot. Bounce doesn't favour Hall. It's the Bulldog defence that wanted the ball more than St Kilda forward line. Winds. Kicks out. St Kilda supporters looking for a free. Low trying to charge it. Held on that occasion. No again, says the umpire. Johnson breaks away. The little short kick on the right to Pretial. He in turn just throws it on the foot along the boundary line. Winmar dragged off the ball. Play on's a call. Sierakowski, long kick into half forward. Here's the chance, big wind. The skipper dropping back to Southern. Nowhere really to go. Goes long now towards Darcy and Gray. Gray gets a fist in on the ball. Jones, Liberatore's out of the contest. Jones only has Darcy to beat. Does that with relative ease. Runs inside 50. Settles from 45. Great goal, Aussie Jones.
Yeah, it's an outstanding goal, isn't it? Really terrific stuff. Well done, Troy Gray, on the assist on the wing here to allow his teammate to go free. Watch this, Southern's kick comes out. It's the right option by Danny Southern. Darcy, and then Gray comes in, gets rid of Libber, and then away goes Aussie Jones too. Some assist again. Settled, beautiful goal.
Well, little Aussie Jones has found it hard to shake off Libber today, but that was just about the goal of the day. He can kick those left foot or right foot. Contessa, playing his first game, has been a magnificent player. What a debut by him. Thompson, Contessa again. He's been misnamed. He should be called Contesta. He's had 5 tackles. Up to the 50. Bulldogs in attack. Winmar for the Saints. And again, Nicky Winmar. Cripps taken off it by Hudson. Well done by Paul Hudson. Keeps it low. On the bounce to Burke. 6 points the margin. Distance with Burke's kick. Heatley well up the ground. Steers it for Lowe. Stewie Lowe's got it. 35 metres out. And a straight kick will level the scores.
Well played by Heatley. On the outer side too, the two Kilda players, Nicky Winmar was one, just contesting the ball, with Nathan Burke's clearing off half-back, just so very important.
Quiet day for Stewie Lowe. Just 3 kicks so far. And that is away to the right. And another miss for Stewie Lowe.
I think that's where his first kick went to, Drew, in the game. That first quarter went to the right-hand side again.
Well, he was on song 2 weeks ago against Carlton. He had 4 to half-time. Had some turns in the ruck today, but, well, they need more from the ruck division because Everett has been a bit down and they need more from Stewie Lowe, certainly from scoring.
Yeah, I think Everett early in this quarter, though, Drew's been pretty good, but he had to lift, you quite right.
So the Bulldogs through Smith bring the ball back into play outside 50. Tony Jones, the give to Thompson. Back in board, Nathan Burke settles from 40 metres out directly in front. And the two skippers with opportunities within seconds of each other. Personally upset with himself, I'm sure, but wanting to keep his side up and running is Nathan Burke. Concentration's the key to this part of the game right here now.
Nathan Burke's not really a goal scorer from Wills, though, is he? He's just 3 for this season.
So Smith again comes in. Oh, low. He's too big when he's in front. An average sort of a kick into the forward line. Harvey does the flying for the Saints. Bulldogs have numbers. Contests the quick kick out towards the near wing. Grant runs onto the ball, looking for support. Liberatore's there. The hoots of the crowd are for Libber, but he's kicking towards Hudson. Floats over the top. Darcy, good flick out the back, but no one there for the Dogs. It's Peckett on the left foot. Everett, the left footer, has Wind in front. Squeezes the kick underneath the Wind spoil. Croft works with Ellis. Working overtime now, the Western Bulldogs defence. They find Johnson at half-back.
Midway through the third quarter, and the Saints as close as they've been all day. They trail by 4 points after going goalless in the first quarter, while the Bulldogs kicked 4 goals for. Brad Johnson kicks out of bounds on the full.
That's that concentration, Ross. Exactly. There's going to be some real errors that are going to occur. It's which side makes a less of them now.
Now, Nicky Winmar. Last week he played State of Origin football. The previous week he was in the reserves. He's kicked to the forward pocket to Everett, who takes just his second mark for the day.
But he's been important at this quarter, Drew. He's now got 9 and 2. Most of those have come in this quarter.
So he's on the boundary line, 50 metres from goal, and with Scott Wine standing the mark, he'll have to kick from 55 or more. Peter Everett, right to the goal square, Lowe is there. Chance for Heatley, and the ball off him, out of bounds in the forward pocket for a throw-in. Bulldogs 56, the Saints 52.
Wonder of that decision of Wine standing on the mark when the ball was always going to be contested on the goal line. I preferred to have seen him back.
Chance for the Saints. If they can get a goal here, they'll hit the front for the first time. Romero gets a little kick out. Burke has been well held by Dimatina, and that floats offline, out of bounds.
So no, he's not a noted goal scorer at all, Nathan Burke. 3 behinds, 1 out of bounds here.
Yeah, Brad Johnson's just come off wheels again. That leg not quite right, I wouldn't suggest. So Nathan Brown's come on.
So St Kilda working the ball in. This time the Bulldogs through Danny Southern with Hullett. Burke now starting to gather possessions. 14 to date, over the top. Great grab. Matthew Dent.
It's a terrific mark, isn't it?
Put a dent in Stewie Lowe.
One of the unheralded players of this Bulldog revival this year. Gray charges the ball down. Here he goes. Very good to Heatley.
Now this is an important kick. He's there as a forward to kick goals. And Troy Gray, that's a good kick coming inside there. Got to pay that mark. Croft too late. Ball was certainly controlled by Heatley.
And Gray, after delivering the pass, straight off the ground on the phone.
So Heatley, in the last 4 home and away games, has kicked 5, 4, 4 and 2. Has 2 already this afternoon. And doesn't add to that tally. Across to the near side. The bruise really a consideration once you get the ball up high, and I think that's what's contributed to many of the misses from set shots. The goals that have been got more often than not are from strong running players where the wind doesn't influence the flight of the ball. Footscray to the outer side. Prediuk does well to feed it back into Southern. He's now under pressure. Hall flicks on out towards Winmar. Nathan Brown, the fresh player on the ground there with him. Another boundary throw-in. St Kilda coming back. They've trailed at half-time 7 times this year and have won twice from that position. Their best coming from 19 points behind Richmond earlier in the year. Today they're trying to come back from 17.
Real mess up here at centre wing. Ball comes to Smith, short pass. And Burke's having his best quarter of the game this third term. He just couldn't shake Dimatina before half-time. 3 points the difference. Bulldogs in front. Dent flies high again but can't mark. Ellis goes off the ground. He was held.
Yep. Just retarded for long enough for the umpire to see Mark Nash. You see the jumper being pulled.
Last 3 scoring shots have been all behinds to St Kilda. And they've got to within 3 points. Free kick there, no whistle on the play. Jones leaves Liberatore but can't control it. And the ball goes out of bounds on centre wing. And Liver not too far away. Even though there's a dead ball here, there's a boundary throw in. He just says, I'm still here, I'm still here. Can you hear me? Can you feel me?
I think Jones is putting himself in a good position out there at half-back, where if he can run onto the ball and get the goal like he did earlier in this quarter.
Use his leg speed, Wills. Yep.
Dangerous player. Grant takes Sierakowski, feeds on out towards Ramiro. In towards the leading Minton Connell. Pressured from Shanahan. Cripps back out in the path of Shanahan. Winmar gets back to assist. Breaks the play up for the Saints. In towards half forward. Lappin in the front position. Good sprawl by Dent. Smith back inboard to Lappin. Now he has time to settle. Can pick out a target. It's low. Bodies, marks it.
The perfect spot for Stewie Lowe. Ellis coming back onto him. It's very hard for someone like Ellis to come back into a play there and hold your ground. We saw it last night a couple of times with McIntosh going on to Silvani. And Silvani just holds his ground. It's perfectly legal. You're allowed to take that space. And then Ellis, very hard to keep the big fella out of the position. So good mark, good setup.
1996, one win to each of the clubs in the 2 games. But in round 5, when the Saints won, this man kicked 8 goals. 8 goals for. Today, he has no goals and 2 behinds. He's got his first, Stewie. Saints hit the front.
Yes, and like I said in the first quarter about the Saints, once they get their first goal, it'll just give them a little bit of hope and a bit of impetus, and they just lift their intensity. It's the same as Stewie Lowe. Now he's got that goal on the board. We see the build-up here. Good teamwork by... Finishes up with Lappin here, just pushes the ball forward. Terrific kick. As I mentioned, Ellis just running straight into Lowe. Nothing illegal about that. And this is the finish that he wanted.
So the Saints in front for the first time. In this quarter, they've kicked 4 goals, 3 to the Bulldogs, 1-1, and lead by 3 points. Wine takes it out of the centre circle. West is dumped. And a hopeless free kick given away by Heatley. West told to play on. Dimatina. Straight to full forward to Minton Connell, who has been right out of the contest today. Belted out of 50. Joel Smith goes to ground. The hand pass to Grant. Leading possession winner on the ground, Chris Grant. To Contessa, the first gamer, who blazes for goal and kicks out of bounds on the full. It's a pity for that boy because he's had a great day. 14 possessions and he's laid 5 tackles. And that is a phenomenal debut by a 20-year-old who's this week come off the rookie list. Winmar takes the free kick in. Ellis, caught by Lowe. Down goes Burke, and this time it wasn't Dimatina, the tackler. Tony Brown works it up towards centre wing. Well done, Croft.
Matthew Croft missed early in the year with hamstring injuries. Since then has played every game. In towards centre half forward, Shanahan, no hesitation, spoils even when he may have marked it. Lappins at ground level, steps this way, that way, back to Shanahan, perhaps a bit hot. Brown, Nathan Brown, the boy from Bendigo, can't get out of this St Kilda pressure.
Contessa's got to come off. I think he's got a bit of a corky. So Brad Johnson will come on and bring his corky back on the ground. Just hobbling a bit is Contessa.
So the ball bounced by the umpire. Inside the Bulldogs 50, Nathan Brown. Minton Connell, yep. Plays on, wheels around onto the right foot, drags it back. The Dogs are back in front.
Well, that's such an important kick from Minton Connell. He's had a very, very tough day. Spent time on the bench. Good tap by Scotty Wine, and then Nathan Brown getting the ball forward. Good control. Favoured Minton Connell, who was just a bit behind and to the side of Shanahan. Did the right thing, played on, gave himself some room. Good kick.
So the Bulldogs have wrested the lead back from the Saints. They lead by 3 points. Ball hacked out of the air outside the centre square. Southern to Johnson. This will test the cork thigh and the hammies and everything else. To half forward, Darcy. Luke Darcy, 4 marks, coming up for his 13th disposal. And Minton Connell, after that juggled mark and freak goal, maybe he can get on fire and get a few more. He's outmarked this time by Shanahan. Adam Contessa's off the ground. John Russo.
Yeah, it looks as though he may be cramping in his left calf through all that work that he's been doing in his debut game, but I'm sure he'll be back on the ground very soon.
Here's Joel Smith to Everett, who has lifted in this third turn. Kick by Everett to half forward. Heatley.
Oh, free kick.
Jones was there. No whistle on the play. Colin-Uke's little kick to Smith. Croft running pass through the centre circle. Now Liberatore and Ozzie Jones having a bit of a dip behind play. Bulldogs forward again. Off hands to Grant. Chris Grant. He has played a phenomenal game, Grant.
Yeah, I agree with Drew. On the conditions playing centre-half forward in a game like today where the ball's a bit greasy, he's been outstanding at centre-half forward as we see this goal again. But for me, it shouldn't have been down that end in the first place. It should have been a free kick up the other end to Heatley for a complete push in the back. He's leading out, just got taken forward and landed on top of to boot. Nothing given by the umpire. Of course, the ball then goes the other end. Still, well done by Chris Grant.
Chris Grant, 12 kicks, 9 handballs and 9 marks, and a very important first goal. Wine, for the 3rd time in a row, tries to take the ball from the centre bounce. This time he does so. Smith kicks with the left into half forward. St Kilda now with a chance. Sarakoski towards Lowe. Lowe now starting to have an impact on the game. A little bit of space in front of him to lead into. Now he's going towards Hall. Hall with Southern. Southern from behind. Colin-Uke goes towards the boundary line. All it does is give the Saints a bit of an opportunity here, but he does the right thing, follows it up and ensures eventually the ball goes over the line and out. Free kicks for St Kilda 13, Western Bulldogs 14. Lowe slaps it out of the air with the left hand. Heatley, no. Lappin being the live wire across half forward. One of the players who really will give the Saints a chance here. Contessa being worked on by the Western Bulldogs medical staff. Smith again to kick in.
Straight up the centre of the ground, looking for Wine. Well done, Everett, to get it going St Kilda's way. Dimartina shakes off Burke. Back to Ellis. Grant, he's had more possessions and taken more marks than anybody on the ground. No free kick here. Eventually, free kick to Grant. And actually, Grant was about to have a go at the umpire until he realised it was his kick.
For the one before that, Drew, I think. I mean, he's nowhere near the ball. Right.
Goes the short one to Hudson. Kicked by Paul Hudson. Short of the goal square. Minton Connell makes a contest with Shanahan. Brown. And the ball out of play in the forward pocket. This game is becoming a commentator's nightmare with Nathan Brown on. We've got 2 Browns. We've got 2 Smiths. We've got Hudson, Hudson.
And Hudson just come on the ground.
Thompson and Thompson.
Oh, it's a shocker. Go, Wheels.
So the opportunity here for the Western Bulldogs, a boundary throw in against their behind post. Wine tries to take it. Cripps does so for St Kilda, and merely puts it across the face of goal, out of bounds on the opposite side. And both sides will try and do it all again.
I thought of another couple. We've got Heatley and Healy.
So Wine bustles in, takes the ball, charges away the big bloke. Oh, Scotty Wine! Well, I guess that's what captains do at times, isn't it?
And when you're that size too, Wills, I mean, why not do that from a boundary throw? Just charge through, take the footy, take on the players coming towards you from behind, and they're not going to pull you down that quickly. If you get your boot to the ball, he's certainly not a big goal scorer, Scotty Wine, but that's such an important one. That's only his second one for the year. Be pretty happy with that.
Well, the Bulldogs lost the lead, but they've now kicked the last 3 goals. Well done, Wind again to Grant. Kick by Grant to full forward. Minton, Connell and Shanahan. Neither. Nathan Brown's there. Off the ground, Hudson. He gathers and goes. He's kicked 4.
And all the plaudits through to Scotty Wine in the centre. Got a bit of a tap, followed it up, then knocked the ball forward, falling to the ground. We might say this, yes we will. There's the tap, knocks it forward, then falls to ground, pushes out towards Chris Grant. Ball goes forward and they get a goal.
So the Western Bulldogs right back where they started the game, in control, and the fans love it. He's seen his side kick 4 goals in the last 6 minutes after being challenged by the Saints' comeback. Scott Wine has led from the front. Dimartina, long kick, Minton Connell front position.
Well, he's had limited opportunities in that situation, Simon Minton Connell. He's not going to win the contest if he stands man-to-man with Jamie Shanahan and tries to body him, but if he can get out in front, just use that little bit extra athleticism that he has over Shanahan, it's always going to be to his advantage.
Simon Minton Connell, who's juggling mark and then wheeling around right foot kick, was the catalyst for this Bulldog comeback. Has a set opportunity from some 30 metres out. Misses on the siren.
Fortunately for St Kilda too, Wills, because it's a bit sloppy for a player from that situation. Chris Burton, the runner, obviously giving that instruction, but Stan Ells will be a bit disappointed that the Bulldogs bit back there when the St Kilda players have worked so hard to get themselves into the game and almost take it away. They just dropped off the pace again and allowed the Bulldogs back in.
Yes, well, it was those maybe 3 shots at goal that the Saints had for just 3 points before they finally kicked a goal to hit the front. Now, if most of those had been goals, they might have built about a 12-point lead or something, which would have been hard to turn around.
Yeah, once you get in front like that, players just automatically lift through and they go into the 3/4 time break with much more confidence.
But as you've seen in this game, you can kick groups of goals. This isn't over yet, even though the Bulldogs lead by 21, 12-9 to 8-12.
So the start of the last quarter at Waverley Park. Western Bulldogs lead by 21 points, with the Saints coming home with the aid of the breeze. The all-important first clearance taken by the Western Bulldogs to half forward. Grant, the man of the match so far, running onto the ball inside 50, flicks it out in his favour, gathers it on the right foot, under pressure at the end, just the one behind. Grant, 15 kicks and 9 handballs and 9 marks. A bit wayward with 1 goal 3, but certainly has been the difference between the two sides to date.
Yeah, that's where the St Kilda, if they had a player of Grant's quality and fibre at centre half forward as a target, the game would be certainly different.
Peckett, short kick in. The Saints with the breeze in the last quarter, but they've trailed at every change by 22, 17 and 21 points. Outside 50, Sirakoski pops over the hand pass to Zilla. Lights on at Waverley. Kick by Zilla, short of half forward. Southern juggles but doesn't mark. Off the ground goes Kolonyuk, out of bounds, and we'll have the throw in between wing and half forward. for the Saints. Danny Southern gets back to his position. And the Bulldogs at the moment defending their top position on the ladder. Lowe couldn't take clean possession. Tony Brown was there. Rowan Smith out of the air. He's kicked 3 great goals. Grant has been far too good for Sirakoski, and again on that occasion. Scott West inside 50. Shanahan been way too good for Minton Connell, who was dragged earlier on. Came back and kicked a freak goal in the third quarter. Everett, what are you doing? Comes to Johnson. A centering kick, all Bulldogs.
Rowan Smith. The last time the two sides met, Chris Grant 3 votes in the Brownlow medal, Rowan Smith 2. And they're pretty close to it again today. Smith finds Hudson.
Yeah, it's a critical fumble by Peter Everett. The ball was, I mean, he'd had the ball spent before he even got his hands on it. He had players on the inside of him and behind. He had plenty of options to give the ball to, but just couldn't get off the deck.
Paul Hudson, who started the game on the interchange bench, came on late in the first quarter, has kicked 4 goals. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. Will kick from 50. Terrible kick, wobbles into the forward line, not giving his forwards a chance. Shanahan and Burke finally to Winmar. Free kick. Waiting, looking, eventually just long. It's a hope kick. Ellis couldn't complete it. Lowe gave his side a chance with a flick taken by Smith. The long kick towards the 50-metre line. Croft eventually gets the front position, spoils the ball. Rowan Smith, tackled by Joel Smith, taken by Matthew Croft. In towards the wing position. Great mark by Peckett. Wants to move the ball on. Does to Winmar. Long kick. It's all Footscray defence. Lowe at the last minute comes in. Comes to the ground, lays the tackle on Croft. And the umpire very slow on the whistle here. Allows it to go on. Joel Smith does the tackling and wins the free kick. Well, takes a bit to work all that one out.
A headlock's a fair tackle, is it?
You see Terry Wallace, he's quite upset with Rowan Sawyer's decision.
It's amazing how they pick some free kicks out at different stages, but there it is, over the top. What chance has he got, really?
Question mark still remains over whatever happened to win the back. Well, it just doesn't get paid. But here's Joel Smith now. An important kick from the Saints. Can he make the most of it? Yes, he can. Well done, Joel.
Yes, that's always been a bone of contention with me, Terry. The fact that the player in front gets pole action behind, carried to the ground, carried forward when they're running. It's just never paid. Rarely paid anyway. But no chance at all to get rid of the footy there.
All-important first goal of the last quarter goes to the Saints. But clean possession to Wine, who bangs the Bulldogs out of the middle. Zilla gets back. It spills up to Wakeland. Zilla, Shanahan. Close to the boundary line. And no one there. Dimatina, who's, especially in the first half, did a great job on Nathan Burke. Dimatina's kick. Sirakoski this time out marks Grant. Well, it hasn't happened all that often. He's taken 6 marks. Hodgson. Centre of the ground, Harvey waits. Well, he couldn't stretch for that. Rowan Smith a chance. Ozzie Jones, Contessa the first gamer. Deliberatore, back to full forward. Grant on all fours. Cripps goes for the boundary line. And that'll be a throw-in. The attendance here today, 32,370. Well, last time they met last year, it was 7,000.
So Daniel Healy preparing to come on for St Kilda, but Johnson takes the ball from the boundary throw-in, and Shanahan and Minton Connell see the ball over for a behind. Jamie Shanahan continues to move up the list of VFL, AFL players who have played over 100 games and yet to kick a goal. He sits about number 19 on that list at this stage. Peckett and Winmar trying to get something going from the back. They've got Wakeland loose on the outer wing. Steps around. Gets the opportunity on his preferred right foot. Into half forward. Healy just on the ground. Daniel Healy. He's a left footer. That favours him. Outside 50. It looks good. It looks strong. It's home. Great move, Stan.
It's what feels, I mean, it's a genius move when that happens, and the player to come straight onto the ground first up and get his first kick without warming to the occasion and find it out long off half forward and shoot a goal. Good kick by Wakeland too, good depth, kept his eyes up, got around the player and coming toward him, spotted his teammate from 50 metres away. A good play by Healy just to get around on that favoured left boot and to be accurate, first kick for the day. Good stuff.
Well, the Saints trailed by 21 points coming into the term. And the margin back to 11 now. Burke tackles Dimatina. A lot of today it's been the other way around. Ball not going anywhere and the umpire will ball it up again. A few eye and head signals there from Nathan Burke. Wine spoiled their plans. Another baller. Well, it's been a contest like this all day. Wide open spaces of Waverley, but it's... Oh, Wine! He's run down from behind in the tackle. Terrific tackle, Everett. Picked up by Burke. Is that a push? No. The mark stands to Steve Collinew. Listen to this, and Kilda fans. Kick by Collinew to half forward. Grant and Sirakoski. Nicky Winmar at the back. He was grabbed by Liberatore, and Winmar the free kick.
And away he goes, running through half-back. Nicky Winmar towards half-forward. Wakeland couldn't take the mark. Harvey's there in support. He has Darcy to beat, gets around onto the right foot, kicks inside 50, low with strength. Ellis with persistence, and the ball goes over the line and out of bounds. What a season for Craig Ellis. Troubled in previous years with stress fractures of the foot. This summer got it all right and has made the Victorian squad. And what a tussle he's had with Stuart Lowe this afternoon. Here they go again. Lowe, the big right arm, round arm. Contessa takes it for the Bulldogs. Kick falls short of Johnson, but he has time to up and onto the wing to the near side, looking to switch. Can't get past Pickett. Pickett, short. Healy.
Wilson Pickett.
Thank you. I thought I'd got away with it.
His AFL
but I didn't. Contessa at halfback takes the mark.
No.
From centre halfback out towards the outer wing. Grant. And keeping going. Drew, I'm going to get it right here. Liberatore. Not the favourite of the Saints crowd. Only for taking on young Jones. That is all. Nothing untoward. Burke does the roving. Can't get away. West. Handball out wide. Rolls towards the line and out of bounds.
Oh, what a contest this is now. St Kilda were goalless in the first quarter. Bulldogs jumped them. And they've led all day apart from a brief minute or so in the third quarter when the Saints got to a 3-point lead. Quickly lost it again. Joel Smith, a tough handball out to Burke. Burke's disposal, perfect. Tony Brown takes the mark. Back into Smith. Wind. He runs around him like he's a signpost. Kick by Smith. Couple of tools there, and Cook beat them both. Lowe and Everett were both there for the Saints.
It's not a good finish for all the work you've done to get the ball that far.
Wilson Pickett on centre wing. In the contest here with Smith. Kick by Smith towards the 50. Grant has been sensational. He might have even let that go past him to Hudson. Hudson run down by Hudson. Work that one out. And it's out of bounds.
The coaches have got you sorted out, Drew.
Grant Sierakowski, Grant takes it out. Left hand, then fires out the right hand handball. Dimatina under pressure. West, this way, that way. Eventually squeezes a handball towards Scotty Allen. He's under pressure, but he doesn't mind taking them on. A long right foot kick within 20 metres. Grant the fly. Free kick given.
Good push out, Wills.
Shanahan takes it. Oh, adventurous into Zilla. Another fumble. Tries to barge through Liberatore. Can't get there. Hudson wins it. It's at ground level. Jones, a little toe poke out towards Harvey. Bulldogs getting numbers in there now. Dimatina, Liberatore in under the Zilla tackle. Everett flicks to Harvey. Flicks on out wide. Collingwood and Thompson. One-on-one. Collingwood wins it out. Cook favoured by the bounce. Looking to draw an opponent. Gives it to Collingwood. The left footer, but it's all Saints if they can keep it in board. Sierakowski does the dummy with Burke, and now he acts the dummy himself. He's really messed that one up. Burke under pressure, over the line, out of bounds. The umpire calls a throw-in.
What about the prior opportunity? He had a week. Boundary throw-in, clean possession, Wine. Terrific display in the ruck. Rowan Smith, followed by Burke. Collingwood, the hand pass is good. Johnson! Yes!
Yeah, good hands there by Jose Romero to get the ball out. And just their persistence, the Bulldogs forward area to kick the ball up there. Numbers around it, as mentioned. Here we see Smith getting back inside there, gets the ball off, and then Romero just spots teammate running through and Johnson. And Corky's fine.
2 goals to Brad Johnson. So Brad Johnson, the Ron James medalist of 1993, a great running goal for the Western Bulldogs. Scott Wine, the skipper, has worked tirelessly right throughout the day against Peter Everett. When strength's been asked for, Wine's been in there. Everett wins to head out, but only as far as Scott West, and his kick only travels as far as Sierakowski. He to Winmar. On the right foot, Lowe and Ellis wrestle again. Everett does the roving. Feeds on out towards Gray. A little bit slow on the uptake was Gray, and Contessa is able to take the ball over the line and out. Adam Contessa, playing his first game of football at AFL level after coming off the rookie list. He's had 13 kicks, 4 handballs. And the umpires again off the ball, being able to pull a free kick, and Stuart Lowe receives it. We believe it was from the marking contest against Craig Ellis. Terry Wallace can't believe it. But Lowe has an opportunity. The co-captain of the Saints has missed a couple of opportunities. 1 goal, 2 to date. Very deliberately from 45 metres. Stewie's missed it. Frustration at umpiring decisions, I would suggest, from Terry Wallace there. The Bulldogs now run it out of defence. Southern towards the wing. Ellis has got away from Stuart Lowe. Passes into the forward line. Scott Allen can't complete it. Hudson tries to keep it in board, can't, out of bounds.
Just a perfect way to transfer the ball from a kick in. You go long over 50 to a man. He plays onto another player running up towards half forward, and all of a sudden you're inside your own 50 with 3 kicks.
Wakeland and Darcy in the ruck contest. Chris Grant has been tireless. Spectacular display. Short pass, great. Brad Johnson marks. It was touched, no mark paid. Gee, that'd be a player's worst nightmare when you take a mark, you're surrounded by players and you realise, she's play on. That ball just came to me with a red cross on it. Forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Darcy, well, missed with a hand pass eventually. Zilla. Lowe came up with Ellis. And the ball out of play. It's at half forward for the Bulldogs. 8.5 minutes remaining. 89-73. A 16-point lead to the Bulldogs. Well, they'd have to be favourites. They didn't go into the game favourites, even though they're top of the ladder. They'd have to be favourites now, but we've seen groups of goals, so it's possible for the Saints, and they are kicking with the breeze. Here they go. Great hand pass, Lappin to Smith to Brown. Brown out wide. Troy Gray, how about him kicking a goal? Well, how about it?
What were you saying, Wills?
I was saying bad choice.
Yeah, no,
Tony Brown's the goal kicker.
Exactly.
Troy Gray, with all respect, Troy, he's not.
No, and he would have put him under pressure. Going the other side, he was wider. He had a player running toward him as a lead, which might have been Lappin, I think, who gave the lead.
So it's not as if the Saints haven't had opportunities here today. Early in the game, got to within 10 metres on a number of times with fumbles and unpressured mistakes, missed opportunities. Everett marks the kickoff. Should very quickly put it back into play. Does so, tries with a big torp. Attacks the goal square, but is inaccurate. Robert Harvey, 16 disposals. Really has been well held, well pressured by Jose Ramiro, who's playing his 50th game for the Bulldogs.
Dent to kick in for the Bulldogs. And they keep doing things this season against expectations. Southern drops the mark, and the ball's whipped out of bounds by Gray. So the Saints have won a throw in inside 50. Ripping breeze going to the left-hand end, but across them from this side of the ground. Lowe and Ellis. And over the back, Brown. Thompson gets a hand pass to Burke. Nathan Burke goes all the way and goals. Burke gets his first, and would you believe it's 8 points the difference?
Yes, that could make all the difference, Drew. He's that sort of inspirational player. Was well helped, like a few of his teammates in the first half. His second half, much better. He's now at 15 and 5. It's probably one of his most important possessions for the game. Troy Gray's been taken off the ground, and Jason Heatley back on, going to full forward.
And the Saints won't lie down. Nathan Burke, the skipper, gets the goal. Puts his side back within 8 points. Everett and Wine once again. Wind over the back. The Bulldogs have the answers in the middle of the ground. Johnson pushes out wide. Nathan Burke under pressure from Hutchton. The ball remains in play. Brown continued to being harassed. Great flick there from Dimitena. Finds Rowan Smith. Great use of the ball. This is a good choice. Long and wide over the back. Doesn't get their free kick to Justin Peckett. On 7 minutes of play left. St Kilda down by 8 points. To Burke. Wants to play on quickly and does so. Joel Smith couldn't take the mark. Scott West continues to pick up possessions. That's his 10th handball. Inboard to the run. Great pass towards Allen. Couldn't complete. Grant does the roving. Steps around on the right foot. Is this the ball game? He's got it. What a game by Chris Grant to date.
Yes, and here we see the lead up here. Ellis just brings that ball in. Almost to mark there. Not quite, but the presentation, the main thing there, the way you just present yourself at the footy, give your team out a target. When you want to win a game, the balls go to Jordan, and I think here the Western Bulldogs go to Chris Grant.
Margin back to 14 points. The Saints will have to do it all again. Just 6.25 minutes to go. Polynuk out of the middle. Here goes Brown. Centering kick, all Bulldogs here. And Paul Dimitena has slipped up the ground. And from right in front and 40 metres out, he could just about seal it.
Yes, and it was a little intercept smothered by Rowan Smith that helped set that up too.
Well, he's been doing this pretty consistently this year, drifting up from defence and getting a few goals. This time he doesn't go for goal. Short pass to Kolonyuk. And Steve Kolonyuk might be the one to have the honour. 14 points now, another goal to make it 20. And with just 5.5 minutes left, the Saints would need 4 goals. Well, this is some comeback by the Bulldogs, who in the last round squandered a 7-goal lead at quarter time to lose to Port Adelaide. Kolonyuk for goal. Straight through the middle. There's no stopping these bullies.
That's what they've had most of the year, Drew, haven't they? Just had that inherent spirit that comes to the fore when necessary. And even when they're dragging the chain a little, their heads are still up, they still persist. This is what happens.
The Western Bulldogs have spent the last 2 weeks on the top of the AFL ladder, challenged here by St Kilda today, but have had the answers at every turn. They should hold that spot tonight. Dimatina set Kolonyuk up with the last goal. "20 points now, the difference. Everett drops it down with the right hand. Winmar charging through the contest. Runs into Dent, runs into West, and again it's all tied up. It's the first visit for the Western Bulldogs to Waverley this year. Has been the home ground for St Kilda, and really they had begun to make it their home ground. Winning 7 times here this season prior to today and winning 5. But the Bulldogs with their first visit have upset the home team. It's been with pressure and then quick hands like this. Smith now with the opportunity. That's Joel Smith. Kolonyuk, the quick kick for the Dogs towards the line. And Nathan Brown sees it over. A large crowd appreciating the efforts. And the travellers back over the Westgate Bridge tonight will go home very, very happily. Wind again. Couldn't take it, so kicks it off the ground. Hudson pressured by Nathan Brown. Quick kick off the ground there by Smith. Wide of everybody and eventually over the line and out. Rowan Smith, who really broke the game up well early with long, hard running. It's continued on in that vein. 16 kicks, 6 handballs, and importantly, 3 goals. Darcy does the strong work in the contest. Hodgson in underneath with St Kilda, under pressure. Eventually squeeze on out to Winmar. Arguably St Kilda's best player. Kicks towards Lowe, and he takes this occasion against Craig Ellis.
Yeah, Nicky Winmar, their leading kick winner by a long way. He's had 21, next best 16. It's up at half forward, spills out to Southern. Now Dent kicks out of bounds, on the bounce. This will be just St Kilda's 2nd loss in the last 8 matches. Previous loss to Geelong at Cardinia Park. And these 2 teams here today both have one thing in common this season. They've beaten the Eagles in Perth. Pretty hard to do. Kick close to the boundary line. Brown tries to keep it in. Actually, Winmar does keep it in. Hodgson, sweeping hand pass to Tony Brown. Up towards Lowe. 75 metres from goal. Burke going past. Kicks all right. Smith approaches 50 metres. Hawks the hand pass. Then gives it. Healy. Not quite as good as his previous shot for goal. That just offline for a behind.
Pretty important month coming up for the Bulldogs, Drew. They've got Carlton that Optus over then Brisbane, and they've got to travel back to Perth again for Freo. So that experience early in the year of beating the West Coast Eagles will stand them in very good stead. Then they've got to go to the SCG for Sydney, so it's a pretty testing month for them.
So Matthew Dent brings the ball back in towards the tall timber of Wind and Darcy. Once again, Winmar is at ground level. He's knocked up getting possessions to Burke, who's been a tireless worker, even though under a great degree of pressure. Kicks to centre half forward. Lowe couldn't mark it. Tony Brown, the left foot, rolls into the vacant square. Heatley chases it. The right foot misses. Missed the whole lot. Danny Southern gives him another chance, though. Screws it around. Contessa nonchalantly just feeds the ball over the line. He'll remember this day, Adam Contessa. Northern Knights, a couple of years at North Melbourne. Premierships at reserve level.
2 premierships in a row for North Reserves, and he would have had another one with the Northern Knights, who won every year. So I'm tipping that on grand final day, he's been to the MCG the last 3 years at least. So he's a big-time man.
Talking of big-time men, this guy here, he'd be hoping to be at the MCG on grand final day too. The captain of the Western Bulldogs in his 4th season, and really been a tremendous leader for that club. He's kicked to the wing position, over the line and out of bounds. So the Western Bulldogs have been in control virtually from the start of the game, other than the period in the 3rd quarter when St Kilda really came back and actually took the lead. Rowan Smith steps away from the boundary throwing contest. His kick long into the forward line. Peckett and Allen. Peckett under pressure from Allen, enough to give Cook an opportunity to stage for a free kick, which he shouldn't do, and Shanahan clears for the Saints.
Oh, Chris Grant takes yet another mark.
Number 11.
He's coming up for his 30th possession, 11 marks, and dare I say it, 3 votes. Full house. What a game by Chris Grant, and I just hope, well, he'll probably be like Corey McKernan last year. On Brownlow night, he'll have an asterisk against his name. Let's hope that he doesn't win the medal and have it taken off him like Corey last year, because he has been rubbed out for a week, controversially. There's a free kick to Shanahan in the last minute of the game. Burke runs past. Burke had a real hard time with Dimatina in the first half. Has come good since then. He's 24 possessions. Didn't get too many in the first half. Gets another one there. Juggled by Lowe. 5 touches will give you the mark. Healy. He's got support inside from Smith. Joel Smith inside the 50. And misses what he should have kicked. Clock stops at 22 seconds. Margin 17 points. So the margin at the changes has been around 17 to 22 points. And it sounds like it's that way all day, but it wasn't. One stage the Bulldogs led by 4 goals. Then the Saints hit the front in the 3rd quarter. And now we have 11 seconds remaining. Danny Southern can smile. And the Bulldogs went into this game 1 game clear of the pack, and they just keep winning against most people's expectations. Nathan Brown, the kid from Bendigo. Short pass, and Darcy takes the mark. Well done, Bulldogs. Congratulations, Terry Wallace. This is not just a finals campaign losing, but with a high qualifying finish, guaranteeing double chances and a real show for the Bulldogs.
I think that's the important thing too, Drew. They don't have such a good percentage, and they've still got those 3 interstate trips, so to turn at this stage 8 and 4 and add this game to them this week after the break with State of Origin, such an important win for them. And I just think the momentum they build up, particularly as Terry said earlier in the game, you've got those players running through midfield, which has made such an important thing.
This has been a sport